as the last hour came to a conclusion, a blockbuster headline appeared about a minute ago on the Drudge Report that the FBI busted into Trump's longtime lawyer's office, Michael Cohen. I, in my lifetime, have never thought I'd be living in the Soviet Union. I believe that Mueller is a rogue prosecutor who's out of control. He's become a maniac. The last I checked, communications between a client and a lawyer are privileged and protected from scrutiny. I would like to know from anyone listening to this show, progressive, liberal, communist, psycho, can you explain to me why the special counsel, Robert S. Mueller, would be permitted to search the records of Trump's longtime lawyer, Michael Cohen? They just raided the office of Trump's longtime personal lawyer, Michael D. Cohen. The FBI, the Gestapo, seized records related to several topics, including payments to the filthy, disgusting, degenerate porno film star. She's an actress, you hear? Actress, that's some actress. Today they call it an actress. A dirtbag psychopath, that's an actress now. But irrespective of what she is, federal prosecutors in Manhattan got the search warrant after getting a demand to do so from the special counsel, the rogue prosecutor Robert Mueller, according to Mr. Cohen's lawyer, who called the search completely inappropriate and unnecessary. Now, I know what Mueller is doing. He's trying to squeeze everyone around Trump till someone breaks and turn state's evidence on Trump. That's if there's any evidence to turn, but that's his game here. It's what they did in trials against mafioso, etc. But I'd like to know what gave Mueller the right to do this. What gives this rogue maniac, Mueller, the right to do a thing like this? Stephen Ryan, the lawyer for the lawyer. Now, the lawyer had to get a lawyer. Stephen Ryan is the lawyer for the lawyer of Donald Trump, says, today the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Southern District of New York executed a series of search warrants and seized the privileged communications between my client, Michael Cohen, and his clients. I have never heard anything like this. Is there anyone listening to this show who is, let us say, a lawyer and a Democrat and a liberal who thinks this is legitimate and good? Because I want you to understand something. What goes around comes around. If you don't speak out for this kind of illegitimate Gestapo-like tactic that Mueller is engaging in right now, it will come to haunt you downstream. It means your communications with your drug dealer friends can be seized by anyone at any time. Is that legal? I don't even know if it's legal. I don't know how Mueller could do a thing like this. Moreover, where is that in his mandate to look into Russia collusion? How did he suddenly go from a Russia collusion investigation to money paid to a stripper? Tell me, explain that to me. The whole thing stinks from top to bottom. Attention, America. This is my tweet to the savage nation. President Trump, comma, time to fire Mueller, period. Exceeded his fake Russia mandate, comma. Do not fear fake news people. That's the end of my telegram to America. So if you want to comment on the FBI seizing Trump's lawyers' records, I particularly want to hear from a lawyer, by the way. I'd love to hear from a lawyer because something's wrong here. The rogue prosecutor, Robert Mueller, who was given a very specific mandate to find collusion between Trump and Russia, if it existed, who has found nothing, has now gone way outside the bounds of fairness of his own mandate. He broke the law himself, as far as I can tell, and he sicked the FBI like the Gestapo into Trump Tower, into the records of Trump's lawyer, Michael Cohen. Now, I know what Mueller is trying to do, which is nail anyone he can around Trump in order to bring them to bay and try to get them to turn state's evidence against Donald Trump, even if it's on trumped-up charges. And so I'm going to ask you, the listener out there, especially liberal lawyers who are in the business of practicing law, if you think this is a good step for democracy, to let a prosecutor who was given a very specific mandate to go way outside the corral of that mandate and start looking for rodents somewhere outside in the sagebrush, so to speak. I'm sorry to make it a little too flowery. Well, apparently we have no lawyers who listen to the show because they're busy earning $700 an hour instead of listening to me. I understand that. I have asked you, if you're a liberal and a lawyer, if you think that this is a good step for America. Because you could cheer today saying, well, maybe they'll get something which will eventually bring down Trump, and I'll be happy. But think of the precedent. Mueller's investigation was supposedly about Russia collusion. But there was no Russia collusion. So the rogue prosecutor, Mueller, has now branched out into anything he wants to go after. Now you're saying, well, if a crime was committed, a crime was committed. They should be able to go for it. There may be an argument for that, but I'm not so sure that there is. I believe that communications between a lawyer and a client are privileged, and I believe they should remain so. And if we end up, after the Trump administration, for whatever the reasons, the viciousness of the left, the foolishness of the Republicans, the immaturity of those around Trump, it's not going to be good for any of us if we can permit the FBI to just raid our lawyer's office anytime they want. Lisa, on the net, line 7, what do you think? You are an attorney, so you say?
Yes, I've been a practicing attorney for 21 years in Massachusetts. I focus on appellate and constitutional law, also focusing on criminal law.
All right, so let me ask you, Lisa the lawyer. Mueller now goes in and breaks into Cohen's office to get the papers between him and Trump. What's going on here, in your opinion?
Oh, this is so outrageous. This is called two-tiered justice, which means no justice at all. This is completely, it's beyond words, unfathomable. It comes.
All right, let's be specific. Let's say you're a lawyer representing a client who committed a crime. Does the FBI have the right to seize your records?
No, they can't. There's a lawyer-client privilege that definitely is protected. But even more so, what you should be concerned about is the fact that this is a witch hunt. Well,
no, I know all the generic stuff about the Trump and the Mueller investigation, but I'm talking today. This just happened an hour ago, that the FBI raided the office of Trump's personal lawyer, Michael Cohen, and they went way beyond the mandate of Mueller's investigation. All right, thanks for the call. I'm sorry, I don't mean to put you on the spot, but this is the show is fast. We don't have time for thinking. You better think before you call the show. Don't think on the air. Don't try to be me. Only I can do that. You're supposed to think before you dial 855-400-7282. Then Robert will grill you, if he's not playing video poker, and put you on. Is there a lawyer who has anything to say on this or not? SBA, radio, Mike, line 2, 30 seconds, fire.
Yes, you bet. So much for lawyer-client privilege. That's out the window, but I wrote a letter to Donald Trump last week. I guess I'm getting, like you, a little prophetic, in the fact that Rod Rosenstein must go, that when he opened up the can of worms by letting him expand the investigation, Sessions should have fired him on the spot. He didn't. Trump should have fired on the spot. He didn't. And this is the result of Rod Rosenstein, period. How's that?
Yeah. Well, okay, Rosenstein is a small potato guy compared to Mueller. Mueller doesn't have to do what Rosenstein tells him to do. Mueller did this. And what I'm asking all liberals out there who are lawyers themselves to think very carefully about what this will do to them as lawyers downstream. And I haven't had too many people call me to understand that when they came for Trump, they didn't raise their voice because they hated Trump. And when they came for Cohen, they didn't raise their voice because he was Trump's lawyer. But when they came for you, there was no one left to raise their voice because everybody was afraid of the FBI. I mean, I know we're becoming a third world nation because of the flood of third world immigrants. But must we also lose our fabulous legal system, whatever's left of it? Is that also something that must go?
You take on the intelligence community, they have 6 ways from Sunday at getting back at you.
That's old Chuck Schumer, way back a year ago or so, warning Trump that the FBI would burn him no matter what he did or didn't do. Today we find out that Schumer was a prophet. In fact, Schumer has a best-selling book on his hand called The Prophet. He can get a pair of sandals, grow his hair long, wear a robe, go on tour, and call it The Prophet by Charles Schumer. And all he has to do is play that soundbite and laugh. Because today, it happened. The FBI stretched their mandate from a Russia collusion investigation, which went nowhere, to busting into the offices of Trump's lawyer, Michael Cohen, who I don't know, by the way. I have no dog to hunt in this directly or indirectly, to be honest with you. The only thing I'm trying to seek here is sanity and fairness for the judicial system. And I believe that not only did Mueller way exceed the mandate of his investigation on Russia, which came up with nothing, but I believe he broke the law by saying, well, there's a crime here, so we have the right to break into the lawyer's office and steal his records and go through them and find out if we could see anything in there that we can use against him or Trump. And I believe, and I'll say it again, that Trump has the obligation now, not even the right, to fire Mueller. He could do it. He could tweet and break it. You know that he could fire Mueller instantly and Rosenstein at the same time and get rid of both of them? He could just say, Mueller's fired. False attack on my lawyer. Goodbye. Who's going to get mad at him? What, you're going to get Ruth Bader Ginsburg will come down from the high heavens and give a speech. The 98-year-old who said we should give up our guns, he'll give a speech. Maybe they'll get someone fired from NPR to give a speech. The one they found touching and feeling, the touchy-feely guy who's gone. I don't even remember his name, but he was very big in the liberal circles. The skinny guy always looked emaciated, like he drank too much gin at the Four Seasons. I don't remember his name, but he'll give a speech. NPR will go tick, 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 tick. 60 minutes ago, the clock will go off. Andy Blooper will have to get a new pair of glasses to make himself look even more myopic. What's the difference, what they say? They all want Trump gone. What, are you afraid of Robert De Niro? Play Robert De Niro. You're going to hear more of this? The mook, the bum, the mutt.
He's so blatantly stupid. He's a punk. He's a dog. He's a pig. He's a con, a artist, a mutt who doesn't know what he's talking about, doesn't do his homework, doesn't.
I thought about this over the weekend. It's not that I dislike this guy, this actor. I don't know him. I always loved his acting. But I was laying in bed, actually during the bike ride yesterday, the thought occurred to me, I was going to write an article entitled The Strange Obsession of Donald Trump by Robert De Niro. I don't know what it is about Donald Trump that drives this guy so crazy. It's one thing to not like him and to be a liberal. It's another thing to be this pathological, as De Niro is. A bum, a mook, I can't even remember the words. But do you realize that the only people who ever used these phrases about other human beings was ISIS? A rat, a dog. Do you understand that? There are certain words that should not be applied, let alone to a president, but to other human beings. And that when a man does that, what he's doing is dehumanizing the other person. It's actually on the order of ISIS. What they did before they destroyed people is a bum, a rat, a mook, a bum. They probably have a word in ISIS language for mook. I don't know what the word would be. Something makes them into a non-person. It's sickening. It really is sickening. What is the obsession? This pathological obsession, I wondered to myself, that De Niro has for Trump. And then it dawned on me what it is. It's simple. They're both New York guys. They both rose to the top of their fields. One is a real estate guy. The other guy is an actor, right? So they were probably all their lives rubbing shoulders at different openings and this and that. From Studio 54, oh, there's that schmuck, oh, that's that part, it's good for him. And they would nod, but meanwhile, like two gang leaders that would nod at each other but hate each other, right? Seeing who's higher up in the pecking order. So now out of nowhere, Trump wins the biggest prize in the world. He becomes president, and his number one competitor in the cocktail lounges of New York goes insane. A mook, a bum. I'm never going to another one of his movies. Never. I told you I skim past anything with De Niro in it, and I love his acting. Won't watch it. I just jump it. And I think he's a fine actor. Even to this day, I won't go. I know he's doing another $170 million movie with Scorsese. They think they're going to get me in the theater. They're wrong. I'm not going. And I'm a guy who loves that kind of movie. I'm not going. Won't go. Boycott. Boycott. I'm just not going to go. I won't even watch it on Netflix or television when it's out. I hope. I don't know. Maybe 2 years from now I'll tell you I saw it and I loved it. But put aside the art. Something's wrong with the picture when an FBI breaks in and robs the attorney's records with a client, especially when it's way outside the mandate of the Russia investigation. This means that if you go to a lawyer with a case, no matter how liberal you are, no matter how progressive you are, every one of you can probably get in trouble with the law at some point, and probably have. It means that your records can now be seized by an overzealous FBI investigation. And that means that we've all lost a little bit of our freedom. That is what I see. That is Michael Savage's view.
Join the Savage Nation. Call now, 855-400-SAVAGE. 855-400-SAVAGE.
FBI raid is the lowest blow I've ever seen. Now, I am all for punishing crimes that were committed. I'm all for investigating crimes that were committed. I'm also a student of the law in the sense that I believe in following the law, and I myself have absolutely nothing to hide in my present or in my past. But the fact of the matter is, if we do not have a cogent set of laws in this nation that applies to all of us equally, then we have no law and no nation. And right now we have a lawless rogue prosecutor who is so mad with his power, he is so drunk with his power, that he has gone way beyond his mandate of looking into a collusion that never existed. We all know it never existed, or we would have heard of it by now. All right, I did a little investigation during that break on the Savage Nation to see, wait a minute, who did Mueller go to in the United States Attorney's Office in New York City, the Southern District, to get the right to go into Cohen's office? If he had to go before gentlemen of the Savage Nation, given my background in pursuing the truth in science and in politics now for almost 25 years, follow the dots on this one. Who do you think appointed the interim United States attorney who just issued the right to break into Cohen's office? His name is Jeffrey Berman. He's interim United States attorney, runs the Southern District. Who appointed Jeffrey Berman? Jeff Sessions. Bingo. Attorney Jeff Sessions appointed Jeffrey S. Berman as interim United States attorney only a few months ago. So what does that mean? Who's Jeffrey Berman? He was part of the prosecution team charged with investigating the Iran-Contra matter. Listen to what I just said to you. We now have an Iran-Contra lawyer behind the subpoena to break into Trump's lawyer's office. Is that going to give you peace of mind? And who put him in that place? Jeff Sessions. Who has been warring with Donald Trump for a few months now? Jeff Sessions. Where does this end? Does the snake pit ever end?
Join the Savage Nation. Call now, 855-400-SAVAGE. 855-400-7282. Savage.